around about then.
And what, just took the family down, just left the city and was like, this is what I want?
Well, not quite. I mean, I left my family home, so I was in South London, and I've always been based around there ever since I've been at school. And for me, you know, when I was sort of working out what was going to happen with, you know, getting married and having children, and leaving home, of course, you know, I wanted to have something that was peaceful and quiet. And I was still in JLS at the time, so that was kind of the mindset behind that.
But look, come on, there's peaceful, and I know South London very well. It's great, but if you want a bit of peace, you don't have to get a farm. You don't have to do it on a farm.
You don't have to get a farm, but it's much more peaceful than if you're in the middle of the city.
And what's on the farm?
So turkeys during the season, pigs as well, Tamworth pigs. We've got chickens, and we've got our farm cats and dogs.
And do you muck in?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
So what's an average day on the farm?
Yeah.
You get up, you obviously feed, you water.
We're up early, are we?
Not super early, no. So I make sure that, you know, obviously I'm still doing my TV work, still doing other bits and pieces. So I try and make it work around that. So, you know, I'll probably spend about 2 or 3 hours mucking out, feeding up, watering. And then obviously during certain times of the year, you've got big jobs to do, like preparing fencing and stuff like that. So that takes a bit more time.
So while you're bumbling around the farm doing your thing, you're thinking, do you know what, maybe there's a story in all this because I love it and I've got kids. Is that what happened?
Not quite. So the passion for writing has always been there. Of course, as part of JLS, we'd write our own songs, so that writing, I guess, instinct has come from that as well. But for me, you know, I've always had a lifelong dream almost of writing my own book, and it initially started as a picture book for my son Ace before he was even born, and it's evolved over the years to what it is today. You know, I've got a middle grade book that's been published by Puffin, which I'm incredibly proud about, and of course you've seen some illustrations there from Becca Moore, who brought a lot of the ideas that I had to life, which was amazing.
I'm always fascinated about the relationship between author and illustrator because it's so personal. You go through kind of lots who kind of pitch their vision of the characters and everything, and then how much involvement do you have?
Well, for me, it was really important that they had a good ability to draw animals and humans, of course. And actually, Becca was the first illustrator that suggested to me by Penguin. So it's almost a match made in heaven. But, you know, obviously, over the years, there's lots of illustrators that have taken my fancy. And for me, you know, as I say, you know, I looked at her work and I was really, really impressed, and she's done a fantastic job.
In the best possible way, our children can be our harshest critics, can't they?
Yes.
I dare say that would have applied to a dad who's in a pop band, just as it might be to a dad who's written a storybook. Have you had some constructive criticism from your children?
I have. So my son was reluctant to pick the book up initially, but during the Easter, so he's 8.
Right. Okay. So perfect age for this.
Perfect age for it. But he did. He picked it up during the Easter holiday, and we read a chapter every single day.
Under duress.
Not quite. Initially, it started like that, and he's fallen in love with it. And of course, my daughter's 4, so she's not quite old enough to pick it up herself. But she sat in the car listening along and saying, "Ace, come on, I need the next chapter."
And
Good sign.
Is your daughter called Bear? Is her nickname?
Yes, her nickname's Bear. So she's Kiara, but we've always called her Bear.
And hence the character.
Hence the character Bear. Yeah.
And she must quite like that as well.
Yeah, she loves it. Well, she had quite a hand in coming back with the briefs for the illustrations. She wanted to make sure she had long curly hair. She wanted to make sure that it was red. So, you know, quite hands-on in helping me to come up with that.
And on that theme, JB, but most children, there's a phrase, isn't there, dad dancing. Did you get that from your children, or were you cool? Were you cool for them?
I think I was pretty cool for them. I mean, they've not got too much experience. So even with the boys, when we went on tour, that was their first ever concert. So for them, you know, you got all the lights, they've never seen a crowd like that before. So I think for now, anyway, I'm still very much in the cool books.
Where are you because you guys are touring this year, aren't you?
Yes.
October and November, I think.
Yes, that's correct.
So what's the focus? Like, when you wake up, obviously at the moment you're talking about the book. So say 2 weeks, right? You've done all the publicity for the book. Yep. 2 weeks. What's the focus going to be? So
the focus at that point will probably be back to TV. So I'll be doing a few bits and pieces for that. I've got a couple of bits coming up. And then I'll be back onto probably the tour end of mid-September.
And are you guys still writing together? Or, you know, how's that working? Or are you going to be doing kind of former stuff, older stuff?
So for this tour, it will pretty much be the hits. We're still yet to work out the set list, but yeah, we haven't had a chance to get back into the studio yet. But we've still got 2 albums that we've not performed live. So there's lots of material there.
Maybe you'll set one of your JLS videos on the farm.
You never know.
Might that happen?
That could happen, yeah.
Are they keen on
Absolutely.
animals, the rest of the guys? Are they keen?
I'm not. I wouldn't say that it's going to be their next pastime, but they have been very supportive over the years.
I can
of
see it
course.
now.
And they appreciate
All
the
holding
eggs,
a turkey or
the
something.
fresh eggs.
Fresh eggs,
Exactly.
yeah.
That'd
They
be
just
nice.
don't want to do any of the hard work to
What-
get the fresh eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
You'll persuade them, I'm sure. Well, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you so much. Ace and the Animal Heroes is
Yes.
the book. It's out now and JB's first book. Probably not the last, eh?
Definitely not the last.